opportunity of trying to win another Super Bowl. So I'm back to the beginning stages of that and ready to work for it. So.
How close did you come to actually retiring?
Well, we ain't got to worry about that now, because I'm here. So I'm just happy to be here and ready to go to work. So.
How much did the off-season workouts help you while you were away and preparing you for this time now?
How did it feel being like?
Yeah, how did it prepare you? You know, when you're working on the off-season and doing the workouts, you know, at home.
Oh yeah, it feels always. I'm always gonna keep myself in shape, keep myself looking good, because I like to take my shirt off. So got to make sure I'm in great shape. So, but yeah, I'm always gonna keep myself in shape and be prepared, whatever. If I was playing or not, so but I'm gonna keep myself, in part and ready to go. So.
Aaron, you said you're at the beginning stages of it. Is it different now, that beginning stage, because you have won a Super Bowl?
Different how? It's the same. It's starting from scratch again. You gotta, build it back up, trying to, get back to the top. So last year. This is a whole new year, and we gotta earn it all over again. So.
Go ahead, Cal.
How important was it to you to be the #1 paid defensive player?
It wasn't important. It was just, it's about, other things off the field that was going on in my life that I had to get situated, and, being here with an organization that I've been with since day one, that I grew with, became a world champion with, and ready to try to run it back and create that whole feeling all over again. But it's about winning to me, and the pieces is here for that to, come to fruition, and for me to be a piece to the puzzle and be here right now, it's a blessing. So.
If it's not just that, if it's not just that huge dollar figure, then what is it about that contract that makes makes it work for you?
It's business. It's still business. Still got a family to feed. So. Yep.
Aaron, it seemed like this was also kind of a unique process in that everybody seemed to be communicating a lot through the entire thing,
yeah.
And your relationships have been so solid for so many years. So what was that like for you this time around in terms of keeping those lines of communication open, and also being upfront on either side, the team very public about wanting to re-sign you, and you being public about where you were at?
It was great, and being a lot more mature this time and understanding the business side of things. And, I talked to Sean a whole lot, was on the phone going back and forth, and he understand where I was at. It's more than just the business side that needed to get handled. There's a lot of things in my life personally that I had to handle. So he understood that, and that's why I love him. Because it was so much deeper in football for me, and for my decision to be made, and talk to my family about it, talk to my kids about it, and we're here now. So.
Is it going to continue to be for you a year-to-year kind of thing, or are you going to play out? Are you committed to playing out the duration of this contract?
I got a commitment with this organization. I'm going to do everything I can and continue to play at a high level, continue to do my part to continue to trying to be another world champion and do that as many years as we can. So while I'm here. So.
You recently signed with Donda Sports, and you had conversations with Kanye. What were some of those conversations like that resonated with you in order to make you feel comfortable to partner up with Donda Sports?
Well, it's a lot of personal things we talked about, but just from the business aspect of things, and certain things we're gonna be able to do and bring to fruition, and it's just a great opportunity for me and my wife. So, it was a no-brainer. So.
What's some of the things that you want to see happen with the connection with Donda Sports?
It's a lot. It's a lot of things we've been talking about, a lot of different meetings that, my wife been in with Donda and different people they've been talking to try to get things, to come to fruition and things like that. So a lot of things is in motion, and, just waiting and waiting for to see how everything play out from there. So.
Aaron, what's it like being out here with Bobby Wagner, just the conversations you've had?
It's good. I got to give him a big hug out there today and see him out there, hearing him behind me, his communication things. You can feel his leadership presence, so it's definitely been great.
Since the Super Bowl, you've lost Sebastian and Vaughn. Do you have any idea yet how the defense is going to be different without those guys?
Well, they big pieces and good pieces that we're missing, but I think we brought some big pieces in to fill their shoes, and I think one of the most important things for me was feeling that the pieces that we brought in was going to still be a real opportunity for us to trying to win another Super Bowl, and I truly believe that we got the pieces here, the players here, the coaches here for that to come to life. So. We lost some good guys, but we gained some good guys too. So.
Aaron, Cooper mentioned that that playing with Bobby Wagner, and he obviously gets to see him opposite him. It seems like there's like a calmness in the middle area of the field, not a lot of wasted movements. I know it's only been one day for you on the field, but do you feel that behind you? Do you feel sort of that zen presence?
Well, it just jogged through now, but just over the years, just being a fan of his, watching how he worked, seeing his success, he always was a guy that I wanted to play with. Having that great presence he got in the middle, and not just that, his production he do. So there's a lot of things that I can learn from him, and you know, I'm just excited to work with him.
At what point during the offseason did you and your agent have a conversation with the Rams about wanting to rework with you?
You know, they was reaching out. There was different conversations that I had personally with, you know, with Sean, and obviously from the business side. You know, Todd, my agent, talked to, you know, Tony and Les and them guys, and you know, a little back and forth, a little understanding what was going on in my life, and you know, that was pretty much it. So.
Aaron, you talked
Couple more,
about
guys.
some of the business opportunities, you know, with Donda, and the word retirement came up. Are you starting to think about some of the things maybe you want to do post-career, and if so, what might those be?
Yeah, it's a lot of different things that, you know, that you got to get ready for and set yourself in, and that right now I got certain opportunities to be a part of, and you know, it obviously, you know, my main commitment is football right now, and doing everything I can to be the best football player I can be, but at the same time, got a lot of opportunities that I got to, you know, take full advantage of right now that I have, and you know, there's a lot of different things that I may be able to be a part of, from just, you know, different relationships I built this off season for sure, and you know, different business ventures that I'm gonna pit myself into as well, just meeting with different guys and having different relationships. So my main focus is football, but definitely, you know, building a portfolio for after football.
And to follow it up real quick, you see quarterbacks or running backs or wide receivers, you're a D tackle now who's that recognizable and off the field business wise, you know, that well known. What about being in that position, you know, as an interior D lineman, showing out like that?
It's a blessing, but I'm just myself. That's all I can be, is just Aaron. You know, and that's about it. You know, a lot come with this, you know, with this sport, and you know, not just on the field but off the field, and you know, I'm blessed to be pit here. So.
Speaking of business opportunities,
two more, guys.
Speaking of business opportunities, did you reach out to Shaquille O'Neal, and if so, what kind of advice did you kind of get from him moving forward? I
haven't talked to him, but he reached out to me last year. We exchanged numbers, so I got his number. But there's a lot of different things I want to reach out to him and just pick his brain with. But you know, right now my hands a little full with football, but I'm reaching out to him for sure while I'm back here. So.
Aaron, with Matthew in place, Jalen has been in place, yourself, Cooper coming next, Sean and Les in the before training camp. What does it mean to you to have this core in place as you guys stay in this window?
Well, I think it's great. You know, you talk about leadership, and you said a bunch of them guys that is a big piece to this puzzle to help us be successful. So I'm having a core guys here, and you know, making sure that they fine and everybody is going, you know, bring everybody else along. We got a special group. We got to continue to, you know, build off what we did past years, and trying to start over and having that much more success this year. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
For him, it's exciting for the Rams, and now I think, you know, probably what he just said is being able to move forward, focus on the next season, and being able to, you know, do all the right things in the meantime until we report to training camp. But you know, a lot of credit to Tony Pastores and Todd France to be able to work in coordination and collaborate and to be able to get that done.
When you heard that report last week and you just said, I'm fine, you know, either way, was there any part of you that was a little concerned?
You know, I told Brandon Marshall when I saw him, I knew that was on a tape delay. So, you know, it was a little bit of nerve-wracking for some other people, but the communication, Kurt, between Aaron and us, you know, and me and him personally, felt really good about it. He's been very clear all along, and so wasn't too nervous about that, just based on the dialogue that had existed.
So obviously just one day, obviously, jog throughs and install and stuff, but having everybody back and seeing how guys look and how some of the guys who weren't here before have sort of come back onto the field, what are your impressions, your takeaways?
It's been great. You know, I mean, any time that you have some of these guys back out here, you know, those are really important pieces to our team. It still is a very controlled setting, as you know, Jordan, and so I think want to finish this the right way. Don't want to minimize how important these next couple days of work are, but want to make sure that we leave this on the right note and come back ready to pick up where we left off.
You had a pretty eventful weekend. How did that go?
It was great. You know, it was an amazing wedding. You know, most importantly, Veronica had a great weekend. She looked beautiful, and we had so many friends, family, and support that you know, you just realize that's what life's about. The relationships you build, people that love you unconditionally, and It was really a special moment. I thought a lot of people, made it really special, but most importantly, Veronica had a great weekend, and so did I.
Is it true Odell crashed your wedding?
It is true. Now, here's what I would say. It was always a tough dynamic because you got so many of these guys that you love and care about. So really, our players vote on captains. Felt like that was kind of going to be a good way to be able to invite certain guys. And Odell hit me up in the morning, and so you say crash, but it was the most welcome for somebody crashing the wedding. And he's always got such great energy, and it was great to be able to have him with us, and we all had a good time.
What's it like seeing Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald out there on defense together?
It's awesome. I think, really you add some guys where, Leonard was out here as well as Jalen, but we've got some really special players on defense. I think Bobby's communication, his ownership of what Raheem and the defensive coaches are trying to get done already is really impressive. And then obviously Aaron's continuity and comfort level with both Coach Henderson and then Raheem, he's going to be able to pick up where he left off, but it feels good to have both those guys out here.
Just to follow that up, where would you say Bobby is in just comfortability and meshing in with the team?
I think really comfortable. I mean, even just kind of standing out there, listening to the command, his communication, it's still football at the end of the day, and he's got such a seamless way of being able to build those relationships, and he's such a likable guy, so he'd probably be better equipped to answer it, but I know from an outsider's perspective, or, from my perspective, he sure looks comfortable, and I'm sure glad he looks really clean in that Rams outfit.
So I noticed Andrew Wentworth out there. Is he a new coach? Or?
Coach Whitworth, whenever he decides to be, I mean, he's one of those guys that he's meant so much to us, as you know, Maria, and so there's an open door invitation whenever he wants to come out and be able to provide some of his expertise and understanding of what allowed him to play at such a high level for such a long period of time. That's always a bonus for us.
He just has to pick up the phone, I guess, huh?
That's right.
All right.
Coach, Aaron
Did
said
Aaron
that
have
you
to
guys
be
talked.
eased into today's activity at all? Or?
No. This is a pretty easygoing approach that we're taking, Kevin, but he's been working pretty hard, so we'll be smart when we get back for training camp, but I don't think he's eased into anything in his life.
Coach,
So.
Aaron said you guys talked quite a bit during this offseason. What sort of tone did you get from him throughout in terms of what he was deliberating?
I think, the same things that you guys heard. He's very, clear, open, and honest about the things that he was feeling. And a lot of these things are, you have plans in place, but when you are able to live in the moment like he talked about throughout the whole offseason, and if you feel like, hey, you're ready for whatever that grind entails, let's go ahead and attack this thing the right way. But it's been an ongoing dialogue, which is the most important thing. And it wasn't always just surrounding the contract. I think it's, let's take a deep breath right after you finish the season the way that you do. You could clearly see that, it made me really happy to see how he allowed himself to enjoy that. And then once you kind of let the emotions settle, let's figure out, all right, what direction do you really want to go? You finished up the 8 years, and we've had, very good dialogue throughout that. And I think we're all very excited and happy that the conclusion led to him staying here, leading the way. And, it's a good thing for everybody.
Couple more, yeah. Did you ever get the feeling where we might have to go to a plan B in the Aaron discussion?
I think the one thing, Steve, I would say is Aaron's been very clear about where he stood, whether that was out there publicly or was just our conversations. There were some moments where you want to respectfully give him his time, but there was never a point in time where you really thought that was tilted towards him retiring just based on our interactions. But like I've kind of said before, Steve, I think he has earned the right. When you think about the grind and what you guys see, with the production, but then what you don't see is what he's doing behind the scenes every single day and how this guy's intrinsically motivated to be great. And what accompanies that is, a real strain in a good way, and that greatness, I think, comes with the price. He knows that, and he can articulate that better than anybody. But I think he's been in the mindset and mentality that, hey, there is a business element to it, but I want to play football. And if he wanted to play football, I think we were all very motivated to try to figure out how can we collaborate and get that done, and that's where we're at today, so that was a good thing.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good, Andrew.
To clarify, Odell called Saturday mornings. Did he invite himself Saturday?
No, listen, let's put it this way. It was very welcomed that he was there. He happened to be in town, and so he was making the rounds, man. There was a lot of coaches right there. He had an organic free agent visit. I said, you stay away from all those other coaches, man. So, no, it was great to have him. I mean, it's always good energy.
If he had given you a heads up. You should have whipped out the contract right then and there.
That's right. Well, he knows that now. He knows the expectations. You come to the wedding, you got to sign with the Rams. So,
Sean, I know it's June, understood, but your running backs room. Wondering if you have an update on Kyron, and then also.
Yeah, he ended up broke his foot, but he got surgery. Everything went really well. And we expect him to be back at some point in the earlier parts of training camp. But he's going to attack the rehab the right way, and it's an unfortunate setback, but he's going to attack his rehab the right way and be back sooner than later.
And then otherwise, with that room, Daryl still working through the soft tissue,
yep.
and then Cam also wanting to be careful with him after what he went through.
Yep.
So where are you at? I mean, obviously it's a long way till training camp, but in terms of that future planning process, where are you guys at with the comfortability there and kind of what the plan A, plan B might be?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, I mean, you've got two guys in Cam and Daryl that have played a lot of football for us. They're still relatively younger players, but these guys have played in big-time games, big moments. Feel really good about those guys. Kyron Williams had a lot of things that we liked, as did Jake Funk. If Jake was able to stay healthy, you saw him get some carries as early as, the Tampa game and do a nice job. And then you've got some guys coming off of injury, and Xavier and Ray that you're really looking at. And so feel good about those top two guys that have really shown they can produce, but you can never have enough depth at that running back spot.
And it's June.
What's that?
And it's June.
Damn right it is.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks,
All righty.
And they've done Aaron Donald now. What's kind of your expectation, and do you have any timeline, ideally, that you'd like to see them get a deal done with you?
No, I don't have anything that I'm like bound by or anything like that. Yeah, I think the great thing is we get to collaborate on this. We get to work together on it. So there's nothing. Like I said, no deadlines or anything that we're trying to bind to each other. It's just kind of like, hey, let's work something out, figure something out that makes sense for us. And like I said, as long as we can collaborate and keep communication open, we'll be fine.
What's it like from a team standpoint to you have Aaron back in the fold?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's a special thing having. I'm biased, but what I think is one of the best defensive, if not football players in general, to ever play the game. What he's been able to do, what he does on a daily basis, what he does week in and week out. So if you'll have someone like that in our building, come back here, just what he brings on the field, but also what he brings just to our locker room, to practices, the mindset and the standard that he lives by each and every day. I mean, this is an invaluable player to have on our team. So.
And finally, for me, he's reset the market for defensive players. Would you like to reset the market for receivers given the season that you've had?
No, that's not. Like I've said, I stand by kind of what my word's been on. I'm not trying to compare myself to. I'm not trying to say, okay, well, where was Tyreek at, or where all these guys that got deals on? Where were all those guys at? And I need to be higher than them in certain places. I really want this to be a collaboration, something we work together on. So, that is my goal, and that's why I think it's really important. Like I touched on a little bit last week about being involved in it, I think a little bit more than I have in the past. So I want this to be something we can work on together, and something that's great for the team, something that's great for me and my family as well. So that place exists, and it's just getting there.
Sean was telling us, Cooper, what we don't see about Aaron Donald behind the scenes. For you, what is that?
What Aaron brings behind the scenes?
Yeah.
I think it's his standard, his process that he lives by. I mean, people see him, you see AD, you say, what does the best in the world look like, day in and day out? Just in the process that he lives by to make sure when he steps on the field, he's the best that he can be. Watch him. Take a snapshot of AD at any point during the day. Watch him maximize his time, the work that he puts in mentally, in his preparation, the way he takes care of his body, and obviously the way that he prepares physically to be able to go out and do the things that he does. It's such a clear example. I think a lot of people want to be great. There's no question. Ask anyone that walks into this facility, everybody wants to be great. There's a lot of guys walking around this facility that live it every single day. Guys that can see, hey, if you want to be great, it's right in front of you. It's happening right before your eyes. You want to be great, you just emulate that. And I think that's the biggest thing I think the AD brings coming back here.
Cooper, when you look out onto the field and you see Aaron at one level of the defense, Bobby at another level of the defense, and obviously Jalen at that third level, what's that like, and what kind of goes through your mind?
Yeah, it's daunting. I'm glad I'm on the same team as them. There's a lot of really good football players out there. You talk about, what I believe are three guys that are either have locked themselves as Hall of Famers or on track to do so. And that's an incredible thing to have on each level of that defense, and the leadership they have. I mean, just the leadership and example they are in each of those areas. Have all those guys together. It's a daunting thing. I'm glad it's just in practice and that we get to go against it. We get to practice against it, and should make things a little bit easier for us on Sunday.
When you have those guys in the mindset that you have between you and Aaron, Mac, I mean, down the list, to having the new additions of Bobby and the theme kind of being running it back, how much of an advantage is that for you guys to potentially run it back?
Yeah, I mean, it's the guys that you've got. I mean, you've got some guys that have experience. I mean, even talk Bobby's come back. He's achieved the pinnacle of this game. In his career and just what he's stood for, what he's been about as a football player. And, so having guys like that know what it takes, they're going to step into this place. The standard is very high. They're going to step into that and want to match that and exceed it and move, daily where that standard is. And it's a huge advantage. I mean, winning a Super Bowl in this league is extremely difficult. I mean, forget about trying to do it again. Let's just go do it. Being able to just go out and play for a Super Bowl, that's an incredible thing that takes a lot of work. So taking things one year at a time and treating this as an individual moment of, hey, it's today, it's this week, it's Minicamp of 2022. How do we prepare for the 2022 season and going out and winning the Super Bowl this year, and not thinking that it's something that you've got to string together years and do all this stuff. Let's just compete for this year and what this year means, and put ourselves in a position to go out and do the things that we believe that we can achieve.
Cooper, I know he's working with Allen Robinson, just kind of integrating him into the offense.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, again, I've touched on it a couple weeks ago, just what he's done in terms of just his mental aptitude and what he's learned, and what he is as a football player. It's been so much fun to be able to collaborate with him. So I'm very excited about what he brings to us, and really excited for being able to get to training camp, really start competing, and then heading into the season. I just think there's a lot of potential for us to be able to go do some really special things, but we have to stack the blocks day by day and build into that.
Cooper, I know it's just install stuff on air, jog through stuff right now, but what's it like having Jalen back out there, moving inside, outside the way that he's done, knowing you're going to get that matchup every once in a while?
Yeah, it's great. At least from the mental side of things now that we're doing, where we're not really competing, but there's still competition within in this league. There's one or two steps one way or another, a foot of leverage one way or another. Making someone take one step outside of their frame can make a big difference. So even when you are going 75%, it's still attacking each other and trying to figure out ways to manipulate people. And so having him out there and the way he's disguising things, and as an offense, is you're kind of processing, boom, the clock's ticking down, you're processing, how am I going to attack this defense? Boom, the guys are moving, they're disguising, and then the snap comes, and it's like, boom, I have a plan. He does a great job of pushing and challenging us in those ways, and that's the goal. I mean, even when you're going through this thing here where you are 75%, you're jogging through, it's about challenging people. Challenge yourself mentally to be able to attack things and know that those details are so important. It's not about just running the play on paper. It's understanding what the defense is doing and being on those details. So when it is time to go, you're not behind the game. You're ready to go, and you know how to anticipate those things and what your plans are for certain looks.
Do you wish Matthew would throw the ball, could throw the ball?
I do wish he could throw the ball. I don't know, he's only been playing for 13 years. I don't think he's proven that he can really throw the ball yet. That's something you got to come out and you got to be able to do that year after year. So, no, I mean, it is what it is. I obviously would love to be able to have Matthew throwing the ball. That's not what we were able to do this year, but there is. I mean, what we have been able to do with him out there and the leadership that he shows, the way that he goes about his business. Even when yes, of course he wants to be able to throw, but that's not what we're doing. But what we can get out of it, we're doing a great job of being able to collaborate and have good dialogue on what we're seeing. And I think there's just as much importance in that as there is throwing the football.
You talked about how you don't want to focus on last year and you want to just look at this is a new season. But what can you take from last year's playoff run and Super Bowl win into now mini camp and then training camp?
Yeah, well, I think the opportunity to play more football is great. I mean, anytime you can get more repetitions, more things, just to grow as an offense. The beautiful thing about this league is how competitive it is. I think that's through the players, the coaches in this league make it something where week in and week out you have to bring it. You have to bring everything you have because if you take your foot off the gas just a little bit, you'll get humbled very quickly in this league. So I think the great thing is you go through that place where you're playing some 4 very competitive teams that challenge you in your preparation, push you as an offense, as a defense to grow and find different ways to attack. How can you sharpen up a few different things? How can you change up some stuff that might be tendencies and present some different looks to a defense? And I thought there was some great stuff that came up in the playoffs that we were able to take and say, hey, this is maybe something that we can do better, and some a glimpse of something where we could get to. And so some stuff that we can add in. Now we get an opportunity here in minicamp and OTAs to refine all that stuff, so that when training camp comes, it is just a building on and a building up of what we had done last year, and it's a great opportunity for us.
All set?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Cooper. Appreciate it.